Coming up on the Making Waves VO podcast.
I kind of wish this was self-directed, but I ended up having 7 people in the room, quote unquote, to give their input on this.
Wow.
And this session, just a little side note, almost got sideways between the director and the writer.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves. Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves. Making waves.
This is the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell.
It is the Making Waves VO podcast. I am so excited about this episode of the Making Waves VO podcast, Bobby, because not only do we have a special guest on, but we're going to talk about one of our biggest passions of all time. We're going to talk about sports and VO, Bobby.
I love it. I love it. I always wanted to be a sports anchor, even before radio.
Isn't that crazy? Like we can do a deeper dive on our sports background and our histories, and coming up in just a couple of minutes, we'll do a deeper dive and unpack that a little bit and how that kind of has shaped parts of our VO careers in a way. But I must mention that the Making Waves VO podcast is presented by our very good friends at Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
And Bobby, they're going to be big and proud, living large, at VO Atlanta, Full Compasses. I just had a meeting with them, Bobby, and you were going to be there, but you had some stuff come up and you couldn't make it. But what I was told at the meeting is their setup at VO Atlanta is going to be stupid. And by stupid, I mean good. Because that's how are the kids still saying stupid, Bobby?
I don't know.
It's going to be sick. It's going to be sick. It's going to be insane. But we're going to have microphone shootouts. There's going to be booths with microphones competing against each other, and you're going to be able to put on a pair of headphones and switch between mics and listen to the differences. I'm just telling you. And I can't go into too many details about Full Compass's participation at VO Atlanta because it's kind of NDA secret stuff, especially in terms of the savings that are going to happen.
Oh,
My
yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, I know they get some bundle packages they've been talking about.
And then the swag, Bobby. I'm just so proud of our collaboration with Full Compass, and let's thank our Making Waves VO podcast listeners, honestly, because we got a sponsor. Apparently, you're listening right now, and you might be purchasing from Full Compass, and we certainly appreciate it. It just goes hand in hand. They're a great company. They're sponsoring the podcast. We're able to provide the podcast and provide information and entertainment to the VO world because they sponsor us. And now, everybody listening, Bobby, they're all doing great by, buying stuff from Full Compass. And they're so happy. They're so happy. So thank you, VO community. Thank you so much. It's great. It gives me the warm and fuzzies.
And stop by and see us on Saturday at that booth. I think it's booth 23 at VO Atlanta. Kevin and I will be there and hoping to do a podcast, or at least just, say hello and go over some cool equipment.
And the scoop I got, Bobby, is that the booth is going to be, oh my goodness, I took down notes yesterday. It's going to be an 8x16 space. 8x16 space. It is it's number 23, and it's going to be right next to Audible.
Nice.
You heard it here first, right next to Audible, space number 23. Oh, it's going to be an amazing setup for you to try out some microphones, stuff like that. Can't wait.
Come see us. Yeah.
Absolutely. Right now, let's dive in, though. We're going to get into it, sports and VO, and let's welcome friend of the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. You know him. You love him like a second cousin. It's Texas Rob Reed. What's up, my man?
It's all good. It's all good. Anytime we're ready to talk sports, I mean, are we going to talk? Yeah.
You're in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready for the debate. What are we taking down?
Well, I tell you what, Rob, as of the airing of this podcast, the first thing that comes to mind in terms of you and I was how my Razorbacks a little while back took down Texas, and I think that was the overtime game, right?
Yeah.
And I almost text you, and when overtime came in, I was going like, dude, are you watching this game? It's a good one. And then at the end, when the Hogs won, I was really going to text you, but I was like, it's kind of late. He's probably in bed crying.
Yeah.
So. Rob's a big Texas Longhorns fan, and our Razorbacks in Texas duke it out sometimes. And most times I'll say Texas is the winner, but I gotta pick my battles. That was a good game.
I remember that time I asked Rob. I said, "You're an Aggie fan, right?" And he was like, "What? No, it's what?"
Yeah. Them's fighting words.
We
right?
almost were not friends anymore at that point.
Oh my goodness. Well, so Rob, we're gonna go to you in just a second. But we're gonna get some background on your sports history. But Bobby, ladies first. So I find this fascinating, Bobby. So you did you really almost become a sports reporter?
Yes. It was a part-time gig. I mean, I've been into sports forever, since I was like 5 years old. But I was starting in radio in Cincinnati, and somebody contacted me about doing part-time sports reporting in Dayton. And I asked my new program director. I had just started like within a month, and he goes, I can't give you that time off. You're brand new." And so my sports aspirations went down the drain.
Oh no, that stinks.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, we're gonna talk. I'm gonna share the computer audio so we can hear this. So it's so funny because when we think about sports and VO, we think about, promos come to mind.
Yeah.
Maybe a documentary narration, commercials. Yeah, but there's many different things, and we're going to cover some of those things today with Rob in just a second, and Bobby. Now, so Bobby, let's go to your Astros piece. Talk about this Astros opening day tease that you were hired for.
Yeah, this came from Pay to Play. I think it was Voice 123, and it was just weird because the guy who hired me was from Cincinnati but worked for the Astros now in Houston. And he said it was going to be playing on the big Jumbotron the day of, before the game started, their opening day. And I was like, this is so cool. And it was a lot longer than I thought it would be, but I loved it. It was really fun to do.
That's amazing. So without further ado, let's hear a little sample of this. I'm going to get it queued up to about the right spot, I think. Right here, Kevin Kilpatrick on the ones and twos. And here we go with Bobby Maxwell with her Astros opening day tease promo.
The Houston Astros are the undisputed kings of baseball. A 6-year ascension of conquest and championships. Lifting themselves into the rarefied air of the game's legendary elite.
Dusty Baker has his ring. He's a baseball legend. And he has the ring that everybody wanted him to get.
I always said before that if I win one, I'll win two.
But even as the kingdom prospers and the banners fly, there are challenges to the throne and worlds to conquer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Bobby
so
Maxwell.
Fun.
Good stuff.
Thank you. Thank you.
Man, I got some chills there, kid. Look at that. Woo!
Yeah, they were coming off the World Series win, hoping for a repeat on that. So that was fun.
It was funny because all I could think about is Bobby, if she was given the line, and they will have their trash cans in the dugout. They will bang on them for cheating purposes. Get ready, Astro fans. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to sully that great performance. That was a beautiful piece, Bobby. That was beautiful. And that is just one of the many things that sports-related VO can be about. You don't want to miss what's next. Making Waves returns momentarily.
Hello, this is Tom Pinto, voice actor and coach. And whenever I'm done listening to myself, I listen to Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell, the hosts with the most.
Oh, Bobby, I remember getting into voiceover, and one of the most exciting parts about getting into voiceover is buying all the gear. You don't realize that until you become a voice actor and you got to produce your own stuff. And you go, ooh, this part should be fun. But then you go, I have not a clue on what I'm supposed to buy.
Exactly.
That's why you trust your good friends at Full Compass, fullcompass.com. They know VO there, and you're going to have a great selection of pro audio gear, and you're going to get a lot of good help. And there's a lot of good attributes that go along with buying from Full Compass.
Yeah, so if you're not really sure when you got the piece of equipment and you have questions about it, they have a free 2-year service or repair plan. They have free shipping on orders over $49. I love that. I think my favorite thing is the low price guarantee, because you just never know. You said a second ago that you're getting into this and you don't know what you need, but how about, do you know if you're paying the right price for it? So you don't have to worry about that when you shop at fullcompass.com. They'll guarantee to match the price on the products they sell for new, identical, and immediately available products offered at a lower price.
They have flexible financing, Bobby, and they also have free expert assistance, and that's why we say we know VO at Full Compass.
Everything from microphones to interfaces to headphones to mic booms, they've got it.
If you have any questions and you're more old school and you want to call them on the phone, you can call Full Compass at 800-356-5844. Full Compass and fullcompass.com.
We know VO. And now back to making waves.
Let's see, Rob, my man. So that's a promo piece. How about we cover a commercially kind of piece that is still sports related? Rob, we're going to play your Porsche piece. Can you go into that a little bit? Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, as Bobby was talking about an ultimate goal of being involved in sports. I was that same thing. I had been a finalist for, speaking of baseball, a finalist for a minor league baseball job in Pawtucket for the AAA Red Sox team. So, yeah, I mean, it's funny how sometimes I don't know how it all works out, but we're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to be doing something else, I guess.
Yeah.
So this piece was actually a Latin American agency found me on Voice 123 and sent me a direct invitation to audition for this part. They wanted this. There were several agencies that were at play for Porsche, and they wanted me to be the voice of record. And so I did this piece, and it turned out to be really cool. Really cool. Not at all what I had expected as I voiced the piece when we got it all finished, but it's kind of a speed racer type of video presentation. So
very cool. Well, let's listen to that VO.
How does a kid become a legend? Does it start with a dream or the courage to drive at 300 kilometers per hour? Is it about being a world champion? Do legends have nicknames like Cat Eyes and fables about night races and thunderstorms? When an engine breaks down, can that stop a legend? Or does that just make the win legendary? Does the man become a legend when stories are passed on by word of mouth? Like the time they didn't play his national anthem when he won, and how he carried a record of it at all times from that day forth. Maybe a legend is born when the crowd cheers his name, and immortal when they remember it.
Dude.
He is such a great storyteller. I love it.
Dude. Excellent.
That was fun.
Was that live directed, or did you direct yourself?
That was self-directed. Yeah,
Good for you.
Yeah, no kidding.
That was one of those pieces. I think, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes it feels like those are some of the best or the most memorable for us as voice actors are the things that we do. We do that self-directed. So, yeah, it was that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
Well, that makes a perfect segue. And Rob, I love hearing your backstory. And Bobby and I knew that story that you were a finalist for the Pawtucket Red Sox gig. Not everybody knows that story, but it was so fun to hear it. And just going a little bit deeper in your past, your radio days, you did a lot of play-by-play for local football and stuff like that.
Yeah, high school and some JUCO ball. Around I guess 25 years. I did that in Texas radio, and yeah, God, I mean, you talk about things that you miss from another lifetime, and man, Friday nights were pretty special in Texas, being the voice of a high school football team.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
sure.
Yeah. Well, it's similar story, Rob. You know, my radio history goes back to starting in high school, and right from the get-go, you know, they knew I was a sports guy, I played sports all the time, and then, you know, for the Stamps Yellow Jackets, I called them for a year. And then I moved on, and I got all the way up to Little Rock Radio. I was working for the Arkansas Radio Network, and they had me do the University of Arkansas at Little Rock Trojans basketball team for a year. I flew with a team. Coolest game I got to call was when the Trojans played University of Kansas. And, you know, Kansas is always good in basketball.
Yeah.
Do you remember Greg Ostertag and Jacques Vaughn?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I called those guys. That was
Yeah.
and Derek Fisher, who went on to become an L.A. Laker, and I called him. It was just a thrill to call those guys for a season. But my sports, man, I love sports. I love sports like we all do. So you guys were talking about, Bobby, was your Astros promo, was that live directed or did you self-direct?
Self-directed.
Self-direct. And Rob's was self-directed.
Nice, yeah.
Now this piece I'm going to play for you right now is me voicing for Team Canada's soccer team. But it was a GE spot. But this spot is filled with slow motion soccer images of all these amazing athletes and doing their thing. And it's all about them being tough. And the reason why I asked about the direction thing, I kind of wish this was self-directed, but I ended up having 7 people in the room, quote unquote, to give their input on this.
Wow.
And this session, just a little side note, almost got sideways between the director and the writer. The director was very opinionated, and the writer was very opinionated because the writer, you know, that's their baby, right? And then the director comes in, and I'm going, and then everybody else was like, there was like a producer, an engineer, and then a couple of reps from GE, all that stuff. But I got a little uncomfortable because they were jawing at each other a little bit, and it finally went. Like, you know, the director had to say, you know, the writer had to, you know, step back a little bit on the direction. And it was one line in here that was really the contentious point. But I want to play this. I just want to hear some of the backstory because I kind of wish this had been self-directed. But here we go. Think you've seen tough? You've seen nothing. When you're absolutely drenched and still take the final shot? Not even a challenge. Playing extra time under the beating hot sun. Hardly sweating. When the wind's so chilling it cuts to the bone, now we're getting somewhere. Playing in Canada's tough. We're not sorry about it. Want to beat us? Come on. We're made for this.
Nice.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Pretty happy.
So how long was the session since it was directed?
I want to say it was, I seem to recall it was like an hour and change, not too bad. But yeah, it was, you know, I was asking this series of questions over and over. And in my audition, I kind of read them more flat rather than really question-y, you know, because there's question after question after question. I read them more open-ended and a little bit flat. And they loved that in the session, and the writer actually preferred it that way. And then the director was really like, no, I really want that to be a question, like really emphasize the question part. I'm like, okay. My instinct was to do it more flat and like, you know, open-ended. And the writer, he said, that's how I wrote it, just like he's reading it. And so it was kind of funny. But anyway, great session. A lot of fun. That gig came through the fine folks at Tada in Toronto. Just, I love working with them, and they are fantastic. But let's move along with other types of VO. Bobby, I want to go. And this is going to be an interesting piece to hear because, Bobby, I want to go to the Serena Williams thing. And I want to play what you actually had to send to the client. I'm going to do episode 101, Q91. Can you kind of tee that up and give us the backstory on that piece?
Yeah, I was hired again off of a pay-to-play, and it was for Serena in the Arena, which is on ESPN, still on there, by the way, ESPN Plus, I think. And they just said, you know, give us some examples of you being a tennis announcer. and there was a script there, and I remember hearing it from somebody in these kind of auditions to just really improvise, kind of go over the top, do your lead-ins and that, because they want to hear how different you can be, and that's exactly what I did. It's like I threw in little words here and there and stumbled over my words and that's what I did. I turned it in, and they came back and hired me and said, we're going to use you for, we don't know how many episodes of Serena in the Arena, but you've got the job, and we'll be back in touch on which episodes. Yeah,
fantastic. That is so cool. So a little bit behind the scenes. That's that. So now let's hear a sample of what Bobby actually sent in for this job.
Q91, take 1. An hour and 53 minutes, and what a moment for Serena. Take 2. An hour and 53 minutes, what a moment for Serena. Take 3. An hour and 53 minutes, what a moment for Serena.
Bobby, that is beautiful. 3 great takes, 3 takes that are connected in that moment into they're the character. They are that person. They are that tennis announcer. Good stuff.
Yeah. That was a fun one, too. And I have yet to find the episodes because there's so many episodes of that show. And I literally bought ESPN Plus just to go through.
Well, there's your tax write-off right there, kid.
Well, of course. Yeah.
I love that.
You're right. It's another opportunity to get into sports. I mean, it's not just your promos. It's not just a sports commercial. It could be a character like that, a live announce or a PA system. And there's so many different ways to do sports VO.
This is Tracy Thibodeau, and you've got the best VO podcast in all the land right here. The Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin and Bobby. Enjoy.
I want to go to Rob now. Rob, this piece that you gave to me, it's called the Rob R. World Cup Rankings. We're going to play a little sample of that. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And can you set that up? What is that?
Yeah, that's it's just an audition. I did not book that. I shortlisted it, but that was an example of something along those lines. If I'm thinking about the right thing, I know I sent you a couple of different things to pick from, but it seems like that one, and again, it was a pay-to-play audition that just, again, I didn't book it. But
that's okay. I'm gonna play an audition too coming up in a second. But yeah, let's check this really quick.
Get ready, America. Your turf, your time zone. From D.C. to Canada to Cincinnati, these are the tournaments that matter. The world's best players will be competing for these coveted titles as they gear up for the final Slam of the Year in New York. Stream all in one place, every court live.
I mean, that's a great audition, though.
Yeah.
Crap.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I felt good. Well, you know how those are when you feel like you nailed exactly what they were looking for, but and again, it was a short list, but I didn't book the job ultimately.
Yeah. Was that an NCAA tournament?
No, it was a tennis. I want to say it was tennis or no, that was a soccer. That was a soccer tournaments.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
Very, very cool. And Rob, there was another one, and we're not going to be able to play this, but I want to be able to send people if they want to check out a sample. And that was your sport fishing show that you narrated.
Oh, yeah.
How can people see a sample of that?
Yeah, well, that is actually it's on YouTube now. I think they've put everything up there. It's still running. We're in the last. I believe this is the final season. I'm not sure, but it seemed like it was a 3-year run for this show. But it airs on Discovery Channel. Discovery has several fishing charter guys that they follow on Sunday mornings, and they start pretty early. And then they also have them on a streaming platform app called Waypoint TV, which is filled with all kinds of hunting and fishing and that kind of programming. So that was, again, something that came in through a pay-to-play. Had no idea what I was really auditioning for at the time, and it's turned out to be 3 seasons, I think 12 episodes in each season, and it's just been so much fun to watch these fishing pros and just kind of talk about it.
It's awesome. It's so much fun to be able to work in fields that we're all passionate about. I love that. That's so, sport fishing, that's amazing. I want to go to, so this is an audition that I did, and technically I think the job could still be available, but I got this audition from kind of a friend in the VO business, and they're like, I don't know, Kev, if this gig's going to happen, but I thought of you and your sports. But they needed a sound-alike of an NBA play-by-play announcer. And, I've called a bunch, but this is kind of where you have to kind of trust your own instincts and then listen to the reference and go, how can I marry these two? And I think I did. The client loved the read. He was over the moon with the read, but he goes, again, it's perfect, but I don't know if the gig's going to happen. So, but might as well get some use out of it. Let's play an example of it right now. Here we go. Kevin Durant, who stepped in front of Carmelo Anthony alertly. Back come the Sonics. Watson ahead to Durant, trying to finish strong, is upended and fouled, and that will send him to the free throw line. Trying to add to his 13 points tonight. He will have 2 free ones. So, yeah, that was...
Yes!
Did that sound like an NBA announcer?
Yeah, was it ad lib, or did you have a script?
I had a script. The very last thing you heard though was ad libbed. Because they let's see. And you were looking at him right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is a first ballot Hall of Famer, Kevin Durant, 25,000 points. Yeah, trying to add, I added that. I just wanted something to complete the thought and, just to show that I knew what I was getting in and out of. And, they sent me a video clip of the play and then the audio of the guy. And I tried to match his breaths, his mannerisms. He kept talking like this and up, inflected. Durant, blah, 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 blah. And he's foul. But
Play-by-play is such a talent because you are literally on for several hours. And, it's you. You can't just, fill with anything. You've got to give them the real deal. So kudos to both of you for doing play-to-play in your past.
That's cool. Play-by-play, or play-by-play is so much fun. And here's a funny story. And I think, Rob, I might have shared this story with you, and Bobby, maybe you as well. But 2018, and I tell this story often, but I had a career reset. I was like, doing okay, doing good, fine. But I don't know. I kept yearning for something, and I didn't know what it was. So I considered a whole career reset of trying to go all in on sports play-by-play because at probably 1994 or so, I was at a crossroads. I had just done my full season of NCAA basketball. I'm like, that's pretty good, man. You're like 24 years old, and you got a season of NCAA. Now, do you want to continue this path? And that's where I go, right now, I kind of hate traveling. I'm 24 years old. I want to party and have fun. I kind of hate traveling. And that was the biggest thing at that time. I'm like, no, just stick with regular radio. Don't be a sports guy. Don't chase that down. I really was at a point. And then in 2018, I go, man, maybe I should go back for that. Maybe I should. I started researching. Rob, you could probably, weigh in on this with your Pawtucket job. But I was like, they're starting out play-by-play guys, and you would have to start small, either college or single A or, some sort of farm system and they're talking about, we'll pay you $24,000 for a year. And during that year, you got to travel to all the games, and then you got to produce the content. You've got to do the highlights, and you got to and you got to be the face, and and it is a full-time job.
Like, you got to want to really, really do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm like,
Well, and I think one of the things that people don't realize too, when you talk about especially play-by-play guy for baseball, and you think about how difficult it is for a player, let's say he's a first baseman, to make it in an organization from all the way from rookie ball up to AA, AAA to the show. Mm-hmm. It's even harder for play-by-play guys.
Yeah.
Yes, there's one of you.
I mean, I was in that same boat, Kev. So, I remember I had landed a minor league job. I was kind of forced my way into it in 1998 for the, they were the low A ball team for the Padres. And I had my foot in the door, and it just the money was not enough to provide for my young family.
Yeah.
And so again in 2013 I did it, and I was the finalist. Finally, I had been a finalist for the AAA job for the Red Sox, AA for the Cardinals, and then an A-ball team for the Rangers in North Carolina somewhere. And I'm talking to the general manager. At the time, I'm like 45 years old, and the general manager is 27.
Oh, my
Oh,
gosh.
wow.
And I said, listen, man, I'm not going to be the same as the rest of the guys that are here. And I get that. I'm in my 40s, and, their big concern at that point was, well, you've already established your family. I mean, how's that going to work where you're going to be away from home? But I was committed. I was ready to pull the trigger, and I would have for all $1,100 a month for that job. I would have found a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. We would have found a way.
Oh my gosh. I was 9 months pregnant when I was chosen to do the announcements for a big tennis tournament in Cincinnati. It's still there. It's part of the, national circuit.
Yeah.
And
That
when
sounds
I got
familiar.
to,
I used to watch tennis a lot, and I do recall them yearly being in Cincinnati.
Yeah, it was called the ATP.
Yeah.
And I got there. There was no, practice session or anything. They just said, just show up, before the tournament. So I get there, and, what do they call it? The crow's nest or whatever you go up into. It was I literally was due August 30th, and the tournament was like the 15th. So I'm massive. And it was a circular stairway. What do they call those? The revolving that go up. You know what I mean? It's like the kind that go up in a circular staircase. So
Yeah, spiral. Spiral is the word?
Spiral, thank you. Yeah, spiral. And I'm looking up going, oh my God. Why did I sign on to do this? And then I really butchered I think it was a Czechoslovakian player's name, and when he was ready to start, and he literally just turned his head and looked up into the booth like, what the hell?
Wow.
It was funny.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh,
Yeah.
that is so crazy. Isn't it something how, but it's great that we have those sports backgrounds, all of us, that we can, turn into, money. Like I was, doing some marketing type stuff, and I wanted to make sure and include that, look, my vocal expertise beyond what you hear in a demo. I've got play-by-play experience. I can do all kinds of sports stuff. I threw in some other stuff too, like, ad-libbing and improvisation, and I can do a Southern accent and stuff like that. But anyway, it can be beneficial. So cool. Let's see here. One of the main things in sports are promos. Let's see. Bobby, let's play your demo, your sports demo. Is that cool? Here we go. 62 seconds.
Baseball's most magical night returns to Fox.
He serves one up the middle for a base hit.
The Cubs, the Reds, live from Dyersville, Iowa.
Shot to right center field.
The Field of Dreams game, Thursday only on Fox. She was the darling of American figure skating.
Back on track, triple toe combination.
But a devastating attack made her an international sensation. A quarter century later, with Nancy Kerrigan.
So you don't feel like you ever got an apology?
Not a direct.
2020, 9/8 Central, ABC Friday. The sun is out and the heat is on.
Sophie Cunningham from three-point range.
When LA takes on Phoenix, will the Sparks catch fire?
Sparks with their biggest lead of the day.
Or is it time for the Mercury to rise?
Shea Petty is doing everything for this Mercury team today.
The WNBA is back, and you can stream all the action live on NBA TV.
That is fire, Bobby. Fire.
Wow. Yeah.
Thank you.
That is good stuff. And yeah, that's what a sports demo sounds like, a sports promo demo.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are doing that, right, Bobby? Just sports only.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm going to get a little plug here. We were just talking about live announcing and that. Paul Stefano is doing a GVAA webinar on it. If you're interested in that, hopefully, I think it's coming up in a week or two. But if that's something that you've been thinking about, I know Paul does really well. He does the Nats, I think. Doesn't he do the Nationals?
I know he's their fill-in guy for sure. So he's done, he's their guy that they call. But maybe he got it full time. But I know he's done been their backup guy for a while, and other gigs too.
Yeah, and Steve Henderson's killing it too, and live announce.
Yeah, we should have got him on here too because of all of his NASCAR stuff. But we'll chat with him later about that kind of stuff. You don't want to miss what's next. Making Waves returns momentarily.
What's up? This your boy Trey Mosley, and this is the Making Waves VO podcast with Double K, Kevin Kilpatrick, and my girl Bobby Maxwell. Give a listen, y'all.
Full Compass is your one-stop destination for cutting-edge audio, video, and lighting solutions. With nearly 50 years of industry expertise, we offer a vast selection of high-quality equipment from microphones, recording interfaces, and software to audio accessories, monitors, headphones, and other pieces to help you find your ideal sound. Our trained product experts are here to help every step of the way with unmatched customer service. You'll also get free same-day shipping, flexible financing options, and a low-price guarantee. Visit us online at fullcompass.com or call 800-356-5844 today.
Making Waves returns.
This is a lot of fun. We love sports. We can make money in sports. Don't sleep on sports knowledge because it could turn into some VO cash, right, guys?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. We were talking about how to find the work. Kevin, you said you got it from Tada, so an agent. Rob and I both on pay to play, but self-marketing works. Jeff Howe had actually started. He was starting a women in sports kind of a roster that he was going to do auditions in that. I don't know where he's at, if he's still doing it or not. And can I just mention, if you are a female, the Building Doors campaign that Christy Hartz started, that's exactly why it was started, because women in sports where men usually would be held. So check that out too.
Excellent. Well, this was fun. Rob, thanks so much for joining us on the Making Waves VO podcast so we could all talk about sports.
Yeah, I'm just glad my roof held on today.
Yeah. Man,
a little windy.
Them storms can be nasty in Texas. And Rob, I guess we'll be seeing you in Atlanta, my friend.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that.
You guys are rooming, aren't you? It's going to be a party in room 444.
Yeah, whatever that is. Oh, my goodness. Making Waves VO podcast presented by Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
Well, that was fun to have Rob on and talk sports, Bobby.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could tell we all love our sports, but I think radio, since we all came from radio, really helps out in this area, don't you?
It does.
In this genre?
I think it helps out a lot, and I know there has to have been some sports people that took that journey. Rob was talking about, I was talking about, we almost ended up in sports. But there's probably a lot of people in sports that have ended up in VO. And, they could, get those gigs probably better than a lot of us can. But
True.
Yeah, don't sleep on sports VO, Those opportunities come up now and then. Well, Bobby, it's been a fun episode. I guess we will talk at you later.
Next time around.
The Making Waves VO podcast is produced by K2 Media Productions with hosts Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell. Sound design and editing by Jason Traver. Production assistance by Lacey Deline. Publicity and social media by Shannon Scott and Silas Phillips. Be sure to subscribe to the Making Waves VO podcast on your favorite platform. For all episodes, merchandise, gear, and more, visit makingwavesvo.com. Until next time, I'm AJ McKay. Keep making waves.